So for good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, sir. Right. So we are going to today in this session, like we are going to do one, simple script on this WebTools application. I already shared WebTools software to you, right? And Loadrunner, I will be sharing the software to you. So before recording any script, right, go through the steps, go through, try navigate manually through the application. So what are the steps in this? I have given step-by-step navigation here, right? First, you go to navigate to WebTools homepage. This is my WebTools homepage. All right. And next, click sign up now. So what is the script that we are doing today is user registration, WebTools user registration. You can see the pay, you can see the sheet name here at the bottom, right? WebTools user registration. I prepared an index and so that you can easily navigate through any script, any sheet, right? So that I have prepared an index for your convenience. All right. Now coming back to the script, right? So click. So we are going to do a script for user registration now. First, we will do it manually, and then we will record the script, right? So once I am on the WebTools homepage, you will see an option to register yourself. This option, sign up now option. Okay, this sign up now option. So click on that link, and you will get this user registration page, wherein you will see customer profile, and you see this message saying that first time registering. So this is the user registration form, right? Now let me give some name to the user, some username and all. So what will I do is I'll give the name as WebTools USR1. USR1. Okay, I'll give the name as WebTools USR1 because we will be creating multiple users. That's why I'm giving number 1. But actually, in real-time applications, if there is some number in the first, okay, username, it will accept. Okay, but if you have some number in the first name and last name, it won't accept. Yes or no? Yes or no? If you have first name and last name, if you try to sorry, WP, sorry, WebTools user. Okay, guys, able to follow? In real-time application, if you give some numbers in the first name and last name, it won't accept. Okay, but as this is a demo application, yes, it will accept. I will go with that. This is a demo application, right? It won't do all those validations. And give the password as password1. Okay, and confirm the password. Don't give complex passwords, not required, right? So please give some simple passwords that you can remember. That is, let's follow this convention. Give the password as password1. All right. Right. So when you are giving password, right, give password as password1. There is a reason that I'm for that why I'm saying. And also don't give the username as password. Some people do this mistake. Please don't use the username as password itself. That will cause some unnecessary script issues. Okay. While developing the script, enhancing the script, you will face some issues. So address I am giving as address1 and city I am giving as Hyderabad, and click continue. So I submitted the user registration form, and application displays a confirmation message like this. Once you enter the profile details and click continue, application displays a confirmation message that registration is done, right? It will display a confirmation message like this. Thank you for registering and welcome to the WebTools family, right? This confirms that user registration is done. On the application side, we can check it, right? In the browser lo chusam. Okay. At any point of time, if you want to see what all users are registered, right? At any point of time, if you want to see what all users are registered, did everyone keep a shortcut on the desktop for that WebTools start server.bat? If not, please do that. Okay, so keep a shortcut on your desktop. See, this is your WebTools. Once you extract the folder, you will get like this, right? So you right click on it and send to desktop create shortcut. This is in Windows 10, guys. I'm using Windows 10 for your information. Those who have Windows 11, these options may be slightly different. Okay, these options maybe your context menu looks something different. Is anyone using the Windows 11, guys?
Sure, I'm using Windows 11. Guru here.
Can you please share your screen? I want to show the options for them. Those,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, please share your screen. So can you go to Web2's folder where you extracted that Web2's folder? Can you please go to that folder? Yes, go to that first folder. Yes. And now you have a batch file, last one, Windows batch file. Correct. Yes. Right click on that and show more options. In Windows 11, you see this is, please hold on, please wait, Guru. So
Okay.
you right click, right? Can you go to that folder again and right click again? That when you right click, right, in Windows operating system, when you right click, you get some window, right? Small window, right? That is called as context menu. Okay, that is called as context menu. Why it is called context menu is based on where you right click, it will show you options. Understood?
This one, show more option, right?
In Windows 11, you have to use show more options. Correct. And now here you have like where is that? Where is that option? View access to new. Go to new.
Okay.
Yes.
Shortcut, right?
Shortcut. Oh, there is no option to send to desktop. Create new shortcut. Yeah, create that. What item would you like to create?
Desktop.
No. What item you would like to create? It's asking what item you.
The same
Right?
name.
Location of the item. Location of the item means you have to access this folder.
Okay. Okay.
Software testing app tools. You have to click that. No, I saw something different. Can you please give me control once? Okay. Windows 11. Previously, I saw in one of the machine. I saw something. I saw that option, direct option. OneDrive properties. It should be in show more options only. Hold on. This is rename, copy. This is share. Yeah, here it is. How did you get the other window? I remember this one. So once you click on show more options, you will get this send to and use this option desktop create shortcut. How did you get the other window? Okay.
Let me to try again.
Leave it.
Okay.
Yeah, show more. Click one more time. Show more options. Click on that show more options.
Yeah, now it's coming.
Okay. Okay. So and use that option desktop create shortcut. Right? Now can you please go to shortcut, Guru? Now, so here is the shortcut case, right? Here you see the option start server, right? So in future, like if you want to go to this if you want to start Web2s, first of all, you will right click, you will double click this to launch this batch file, right? If you want to go to that folder, you can right click and use this option open file location. That will take you directly to that folder, right? You are aware of this, right? Open file location means if you click on right click and open file location, it will take you to that folder, that exact location, actual location. Understood, guys?
Yes, Vishnu.
There is background noise from my side.
Okay. One second.
Yeah. Yeah. And where are we? Can you are you able to access the application now?
Yes, Krishna. I can.
Right. Now, hold on. So did you register any user?
I tried to attempt.
Okay. Fine, let me share my screen and show you. So I registered one user just now, right? So, and I went to this, I used this shortcut and went to that folder by using this open file location. I went to that folder, and whenever you register some users, right, that you can see that username in this file, CGI bin, go to CGI bin and users. In that you can see that, that user what you already registered. Usernames are, you can see all the usernames who are already registered. You can sort with date modified and you can see here. See, this is the username that I registered just now, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, please respond. Right, this is, you can see the date and time here. See, this was done, this user registration was done at 12:05 today, right? And you can open this, in Notepad++. You can open this with Notepad++. Let me open, right click and, see, this window is called as context menu. Please remember this. In Windows operating system, whenever you right click that window, you get this such kind of window, right? This is called as context menu. Why this is called as context menu is based on where you right click, you will get the options. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? So I clicked on a file. So you are seeing this edit with Notepad. Suppose if I click on some, hold on. So if I click on here, right? If I click on this folder, you see different options, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. So that's why this is called as context menu. It will show the options, context menu options will change based on where you launch that window from, that context menu from. That's why that is called as context menu. Now let me go to that folder one more time and let me show that file here. Let me open with Notepad++, and you can see here the first line contains the password. This is the password that I have given while registering, and this is nothing but first name and last name that I gave. I gave same first name and same string for first name and last name. And this is the address I mentioned and city that I mentioned while registering. You got it, guys? So you can see here, like you can come to this folder and see what all users are already registered with this application. Okay, clear, guys?
Yes.
And is the flow also clear? So once you click on the profile details or customer information, so you will submit that, you will click continue to log in, right? So click continue and user registration will be completed and it will display a confirmation message. Then if you click on continue here, you will be able to log into the application, right? Now you can see user logged into the application and you'll see a nice welcome message. So saying that welcome Web2's user 1 in bold, right? It is highlighting that username in bold and it is displaying a nice welcome message. Welcome to the Web2's reservation pages, right? So this is about the flow. That's what I'm explained here. User logged into the application. User will be logged into the application and application displays a welcome message. Now log out. So user registration is successful and I'm able to log into the application also, right? Once you confirm that user registration is successful and you are able to log in, sign off from the application. Now what, this is manual flow. We did it manually. Now let's develop, so we did a user registration manually now. What next is, I already explained, like, if you want to do performance testing for any application, first we will identify all the critical business flows, right? I explained it here in one of the, let me stop. So let me stop. Limit, you can, sorry guys, I stopped recording. Yeah, now it is loading. So there is no time limit on the Loader trial version. Okay. So hold on. Maybe like, I think recently they kept some time limit of 1 year. Previously, there used to be no time limit for Loader, but from 2021 onwards, I think they kept some time limit of 1 year. I think I'm not 100% sure. I had to check that survey.
Okay, so in any case, we can go ahead and download it, at least install it, right? Anyways, it will be there for 1 year minimum.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Hi sir, how we will download that loader? Will you share or we need to?
I will share it. So right now, see, let me show you steps to download this, Loadrunner software. Download Loadrunner. Okay. So Micro Focus is the company which owns Loadrunner. Here you can see Loadrunner Professional trial version. If you click on the link, right? So see, observe here, it asks for business email or student email. Means you have to either give your college email address or your official email address. From last 1 year, it is not accepting Gmail. Previously, they used to provide, with Gmail also, they used to allow users to, user registration with Gmail IDs also. But somehow, like from the past 1 year, they are not allowing Gmail or Yahoo or any other public email addresses. You need to enter only official email address or your student email address. This is from the past 1 year, guys. So those who are having official email address, you can provide this and you can download yourself, right? You can fill this form, registration form. You can see here, you can see here. So you can see here, complete the form to access the community edition, right? And you can fill this form and you can register yourself. Click on the start trial and you can download yourself. Those who don't have an official email address, I'll share the software to you. I'll share my Google Drive, just like how I shared the PPTs and all. I'll share the Google Drive. Okay. Now let me go back to the recording, right? Now you can see like this WebTours homepage is launched, right? What is the next step, guys? Now, so what is the next step in the script? So click sign up now. If you want to do user registration, click sign up now is the next step. Observe here, there is an option to insert comments here, and this is second step, by the way, isn't it? This is your second step, right? What is that step? Click. You can copy paste from here. You can copy paste these comments, right? This transaction names from here, right? To click sign up now. Okay, and perform the step in the browser. Observe here, I'm using Firefox for recording because I used Chrome for opening my, accessing my Gmail and all these documents and all. So I'm using Firefox for recording the script, right? Now, so click on this sign up now. Once you kept a comment, right? Click on this sign up now. And you get this registration page. What is the third step now? Enter profile details and click continue. This is the third step, right? Click on this comment, insert comment 3, right? And what is the username that I used just now? I think it's
Tutor.
right. Now I will give the, can I use the same username? Can I use like this? Can I give the same username? Yes, say yes or no. See, this username is already registered. So can I use the same username? This username is already registered here. Okay. And I'm able to log in with that user also. Okay. Let me show you. WebTools user 1. Password is password 1. Right. Once a user registers with some username, we cannot, no one else can register again, right? So I'll give the username as WebTools user 2.
Yes, yes.
See, once you get some email ID, Gmail ID, right? So anyone else can't create, use the same Gmail ID, right?
Yes, yes.
So I'm giving password as password 2 because username is WebTools user 2. And first name and last name, I'll give the same thing just to save some time because it won't validate anything anyways. Address 1. So now let me click on continue. So you can see here events are increasing. Okay, so that confirms that some processing is getting done, right? What happened to this? Yeah. Okay. Now you can see it is displaying a confirmation message saying that thank you for registering and welcome to the WebTools family. Right now, what is the next step now? So please, when you are recording, right, follow these steps like whatever I have provided. You can copy the comments from here instead of typing and we continue to log in. Next, perform this step. Okay, go to the browser and perform the step. We continue to log in. So once you click on this continue button, user will be logged in. This WebTools user 2 will be logged into the application. And observe here, events are increasing. See here, you see here, right? 12:37, 12:38, 12:39, and so on. And also a timer is running, right? Here you can see a timer running. I will restart my laptop after the session. Okay. I think I have
What is the event, Pawan?
Events means, yeah, good question. So events means nothing but your requests and responses. It is recording the request, whatever request is going from the browser to server. Which server here?
WebTours.
WebTools server, right? So these are called as requests, right? We are sending some requests to the browser, to the server. From the browser, we are sending requests to the server. And this is called as response that we get from the server, right? The page that we see is the response that we got from the server. So it is recording those requests and responses.
Okay, thanks.
Right? Now you see the, like you are able to log into the application and application is displaying a welcome message. What next now? So once you click continue to log in, once you are able to log in, log out of the application. So this confirms that your user registration is successful, right? And you are able to log in also. Which step is this, sixth or fifth step? Fifth step. Thing is, right, once you click on this insert, right, suppose if you switch to some other window, and if you come back here, you cannot type anything here. You have to click cancel and you have to open it again. Understood? Once you switch off from this window, right? If you go to some other window from this, you cannot come back here and type it again. So you have to click again. You have to click cancel and launch this comment box again. Right now. So what is the next step? Last step is sign off. Once we confirm that user registration is successful, I'm clicking sign off I'm logging out from the application. Now you'll see how the script will be generated by the tool, and you will love LoadRunner a lot, right? So everything, if you go through the script, right? So now VUgen is generating the script. See here, virtual user generator is creating the script for you, and it is performing post generation operations. You will understand what is that post generation operations and all. Clear, guys? So let it complete. Yeah. Now here is your first script, guys. Okay, let me show you that script. See here, this is your first script, right? See, you can see all the comments that I kept here in green color. Observe here, it has color coding. All the comments will be displayed in green color. And also these are LoadRunner functions. I will explain that what is LoadRunner function. So this is your first script, guys, right? Your script is ready. I mean, your script is recorded now. This is the recorded script by the tool. So basically what LoadRunner has done is, it has recorded all the requests that, see, observe this URL. What is this?
Application URL.
Right. This is the Web2's application URL that we started with, isn't it? We started with this URL, yes or no?
Yes,
sir.
So it has recorded that request. Mana browser nunchi server ku vellin request ni, it has recorded that script, that request, and it has, it generated a script like this. And here you can see these are comments that I have inserted. And I'll explain this. What is this think time later on? First, let us understand, the script structure, right? And this is next step. Second step is click sign up now. And this is the URL. Actually, when we click on sign up now, this is the request that goes to the server, right? And this is next request, enter profile details and click continue. Can you see here, whatever username, password I gave, you can see that here, isn't it? Whatever username and password I filled in the registration form is visible here, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Password too, right? And this is username, password. These are nothing but labels. These are called as labels. Let me go to the HTML page. See, once you sign off, if you click on sign up now, right? These are called as labels, right? These are called as text fields. You may be knowing that, right? But these are called as text fields, and this is the label for this text field. This is the label for this text field. Understood, guys? So when you submit this form, right, the form data will be recorded like this as item data. Under item data section, all your form data will be recorded like this. Observe here, whatever data I entered in the form is recorded here. So basically, this is the registration request. Once I submit form, this is the request that went to the server. And once you click on continue, right, you will be able to log into the application, right? And then we logged out. You understood, right? What are these? These are all nothing but web HTTP request that you send from the browser to server. Agree with me? HTTP requests that are sent from browser to server. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Right now, Pritish asked me one question, like what is meant by recording events, right? Then I answered that, events is nothing but request and responses, right? So these are requests. We understood that these are requests, but how about response? Will LoadRunner, or any tool capture the response also? Yes, it will capture, right? Let me show you the response of this request. See, from here to here, this is one request, guys. Web_URL index.htm. This is one request from line number 4 to line number 12. You see the line numbers here, right? Now, how can I see the response for this request? How can I see response for this request is, select that step, right click somewhere on that step and, use this option show snapshot. Show snapshot and select page view here. Observe here, select page view. And this is the response that we got from the server for index page, right?
Okay.
And once you click on sign up now, you'll see a registration page, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the page that we got, right? So your tool recorded the request and responses. Understood?
Yes.
Right? Whatever communication is happened between your browser and server, it has captured all that communication. You can see here, it displays the thank you message, right? So remember, you have to click on somewhere on this request. Okay. If you click an empty line, it won't show you anything. It will say that no snapshots available because my cursor is in empty line here, isn't it?
Yes.
But if you click on the request, it will show you immediately. It will refresh the screen and will show you. This is the next request. This is the next request, right? And this is the sign off. Once you click on sign off, you see this this page again, login page, isn't it? Right? Somehow this doesn't show this frame, right? Generally, actually, when we log out, right, you'll see this this also, this one also. But somehow this tool is not showing this part, this particular part. But you see this, right? This is related to this navigation page, this one, this part. And remember here, in this application, each part of the, let me explain each part of the page. This is called as header.html. This is one frame. This is second frame called navigation. This is a navigation frame, and this is home.html. This is called as home.html. This basically, this page is made up of 3 frames. I'll explain that, how can you confirm that? I'll explain that if you want. Clear, guys? So we recorded one script for user registration. Okay. Now fine, we recorded one script. Then what else? What we have to do, right? So next time, if you want to do some user registration, right, you need not do it manually. What you can simply do is you can change the username here, Control C, Control H, right? And I'm giving the username as Web2's user3, and right, and doing replace all. See, observe here, this username is in line number 41 and 44 and 45, isn't it? This username is there in 3 lines, 41, 44, 45. If I do replace all, right, 3 occurrences were replaced, right? Now I change the username. Let me change the password also. Control C, Control H. Password 3. Right? Do replace all. 2 occurrences are replaced. Now what you can do is you can simply replay the script like this using this option, replay option. Right? Use this replay option, and the script will create this user registration. Now script will do that user registration for Web2's user 3. And let me go to that folder and see whether that user is created. See, it is not registered at the moment. Yeah, now see here. Now the user is registered here, right? You see the username here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So what did your tool do now? See, it has simply replayed your script. It has simply repeated this request. That's it, right? Suppose you want to create one more user, right? You cannot do that every time manually, right? Agree? Suppose you have to replay the script 100 times. You cannot do this manually. It is a tedious job to do that manually. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Let's say you want to create some 100 user IDs or 1000 user IDs. Every time if you want to change it manually, it's difficult task, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
I'll show you an option for that. Okay, let me replay the script one more time and let me show you the that folder. Okay, see, Web2's user 4. I'm running the script with username as Web2's user 4.
Yes.
Okay, this is done now. This is done now, and here you can see the user is created here. This user is created here, right? Now, suppose I want to clear, guys, what is recording the script and how to replay the script.
Yeah.
Simple, right? We did not write any single line of code here till now, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? Now, so, but if you want to create some 100 user IDs, or for example, 500 user IDs, every time, updating it manually is a tedious stuff, not a hard, it's not a smart work, right? It is a hard work, right? So what we can do is tool provides an option to keep all the usernames into one file. For example, you can keep whatever usernames you want to use, right? You can keep it into one file, webtools USR 4. I think 4 is also done. 4 is also registered, right? That's fine. Let me give from 1 only. Okay, so I'm preparing the test data now. Please understand that I'm preparing the test data. Means, wow, usernames తో అయితే నేను registration చేయాలనుకుంటున్నాను. I'm putting all those usernames into one file. I'm preparing the test data. Here, guys, password 2. Right? Now, like select both these columns and, drag like this in Excel. This is the beauty of Excel. I asked everyone to practice Excel basics. Okay. I don't know how many of you practice that. Right. So now I created some test data for 100 users. Copy this data and, go to Notepad++. Okay. Okay. Please hold on. I'll show you from the tool perspective. Okay. So I want to create, I want to put all these usernames and passwords into a file. So how can I do that is just right click on this username, right click and use this option, replace with a parameter, create new parameter and give some name to this. Give the name as p username and let it be parameter file is by default file. And observe here, original value is copied here because, I right clicked on this value and replace with a parameter. I used the option replace with parameter. And observe here, original value is copied here. Click on properties, right? Click on properties. And what does it say here? Read this line. The data file does not exist. To create a file, click create table. So click on that create table and it will ask for a confirmation whether you want to create a new data file. Click OK. And observe here, the original value is copied to here, isn't it? The original value is copied here. Yes or no, guys? Right? And click OK. Come here and click OK. Now, what is it asking? Do you want to replace other occurrences? Yes, there is some background noise from my side. Please give me a moment. I will close the door. So, what is it saying here? Do you want to replace other occurrences of the string with this parameter? And observe, the beauty in load runner. This is the, observe here. We replaced in line number 41. But, it is asking, do you want to replace other occurrences of this string? Observe here, we have few more other occurrences of this string, right? Web2 USR4 in line number 44 and 45. And it is highlighting that with blue color, observe here. Because it is highlighting and showing that, there are few more occurrences of this string in 44 and 45. Do you want to replace the other occurrence of the string with the parameter?
Yes.
Right? Say yes. Say yes and, you will get this option replace window. Use this replace all. Right now you can see it has replaced in line number 44, 45 and change the color to yellow. Right?
Yes.
And you can it also displays, 2 occurrences were replaced. It also displays, how many occurrences are replaced. Click OK and close this window. Right? So what we did now actually, we kept the username into a file. Okay. Now let me do the same thing for password also. Right? Let me parameterize the password. This process is called as parameterization. Okay, I'll explain that. I'll repeat this once we start the actual scripting. I will repeat this. In this demo session, I want to show you how do we create a script and how to enhance the script. Clear, guys? And now I want to parameterize the password also. So right click on that. Again, use this option replace with parameter, create new parameter. Right? And let me give some meaningful name to this. I'm giving the name as p password. P password is to indicate that this is a parameter. That small p, I gave that small p to indicate that this is a parameter. Okay. You'll understand what is meant by parameter soon. And now again, click on properties. And we already created one data file previously. Means we kept usernames into one file, right? Select that name. That file name is username.data. Right? This is the file where we kept. Where we, we created one data file actually, and we inserted that original values copied into that file. You can actually open this file and see. Let me show you that file. quickly. So this is your, no, not this one. Hold on, let me go to your folder, web tours. This is your script folder, guys. See here, user registration RAC1, and observe here. This is the data file. Dat means data file. At what time it is created? At 12:44, just 3 minutes back, isn't it? Clear, guys?
Who created this? You created or the system created?
No, when we are parameterizing that, it asked for, like, do you want to
Right.
create a data file?
Yeah, the file name. Yeah.
The file is not created. If you want to create a, click on
Yes.
OK.
Yes.
It
Yes.
asks for a confirmation, right?
Yeah.
At that time, that file was created.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now I want to keep the password also into the same file. I don't want to create another file. You can create another file, but I don't want to create another file. But I want to keep password also into the same file. So for that, what I will do is I will add column. I clicked on add column button, and you get this column name as p password, because we gave the name here, right? Parameter name as p password, right? That name will be picked here. Click OK, and one column will be added to the file, and that original value is copied to the file. See here, that original value is copied into this file. Okay, click OK, and again click OK here. Now it is asking, like, observe here, it is highlighting that line number 43 now in blue color, because password is there in one more line, and it is asking for a confirmation. Do you want to replace other occurrences? Say yes. Say yes, and it will create this. It will replace this password 4 in the line number 43. Right? Do replace all. It shows one occurrence of password was replaced, and we are done with the parameterization. Right? We are done with the parameterization. Now, what is the use of this parameterization? What is the use of creating, keeping all that username and password into a file is, now if on the left side you see there is something called parameters, right? Double click on that and you can see that file here. You can see that parameter list here, right? Now if you want to open this file, right, click on edit with notepad, and we created some test data. Previously we created some test data, right? I'm copying the test data to that file. Okay, sorry. Excel, right? So copy this data from here, and observe here. I want to show you one more thing. Load runner, right? Observe here, this file should be a CSV file. How do I know that is? You see the file format here, column delimiter is comma, means it is a comma separated file. And if you open this, you can see here, you see a commas here between username and password, isn't it? So you have to provide data in this way, because by default the column delimiter is comma here. The column delimiter means nothing but comma separator is the column separator is a comma by default. So you have to provide the data separated by commas. Understood? Yes, is it clear? Are you able to follow?
Yes.
So now that's for that, what I am doing is I copied the test data into Notepad++, and let me replace that space with a comma. I'm replacing that space, Control C, Control H. I'm replacing that with a comma, and do replace all. Right? 100 occurrences were replaced, means it replaced all the spaces with commas in the 100 lines, isn't it? Do Control A. Copy this and go to load runner tool, edit with notepad, and you keep the data here now. Right? Means we are providing 100 user data. And remember here, once you copy the data, right, do Control A and make sure there are no empty lines. If you observe here, there is an empty line here. Right? Observe here. I am doing Control A and observe here. Data ended here, but there is a cursor is in between cursor and data, you have one empty line. Yes or no? This one. So you have to remove that. Okay. And it should look like this. Right? Now save this file, right? And go to your script, right? You can see here now all the users are populated into this parameter file, isn't it? You can see that 100 user IDs. Yes or no? Yes, please respond, guys.
Yes, sir.
Right now, so and also observe here, this is p username, this is p password. There are two parameters here, p username and p password. One more thing is, like select p username And by default, column numbers will be specified here. By select column by number 1 means this is column number 1, right? P username is column number 1. So select by name and select this by P username. Select means instead of column number, I am selecting column name. That's it. Understood?
What is the difference? How does it?
It doesn't, this is one of the best practice. That's it. Okay. Not mandatory though, but like you have to, instead of column numbers, you have to use column names. That is one best practice. And next I'm selecting password now. Password also I'm doing the same thing. I'm selecting P password. See, observe here, I selected this P password. When I select P username, this changes. And select password, select column by name, right? And observe here, you have some options here. See here, for username, there are some options sequentially each iteration. I'll explain this later. But for this username, if I use this username, I want to use this password. How can I tell that is? Go to that password and you have an option here. Same line as P username. Makes sense? Means if your username is this password, it will pick password this one as this one. If this is the username password, I want to use this as my password. Does it make sense? Same line as your P username means I selected P password
Yes.
and selected this option, same line as P username, right? And one more thing, guys, one more wonderful feature in LoadRunner is, suppose, we already used some 5 user IDs already registered, isn't it? 4 user IDs are already registered, Web2 CSR 1 to 4, right? But I kept this in the file, right? I don't want to use this first 4 user IDs. I want to use from line number 5, right? Yes or no? We cannot reuse these user IDs. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right? So I cannot reuse, I cannot use this, these user IDs. These user IDs are already registered. I want to use it from line number 5, right? There is an option for that also. You can select from line number 5. If you observe here, first data line 1, and let's see here, first data line is mentioned as 1 by default. Change it to 5. Now observe here, it is pointing to line number 5 now, isn't it? It is pointing to line
Yeah.
number 5
Yes.
now.
Starting with 5.
Correct. Now, click close, right? And replay the script now. Now what happens is, instead of this username, it will go to the parameter file and pick that first value, username. You see here, P username, right? Let me highlight that. See, instead of this, when we replay the script, right? Previously, we kept some hard-coded values. And a script lone, we gave some Web2 user 3, Web2 user 1 and each one, right? But but if you want to run the script for multiple iterations, we can put all the user IDs into a file. And when we replay the script, right? So as soon as LoadRunner sees this parameter P username, right? It will go to the file and it will, first data line is 5, right? It will go to that first data line and it will pick this value from P username. Understood? P username column. It will pick this value. Clear, guys?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And the next line is P password. Next line is P password. So again, it will go to the file. Let me use this one. Right. Again, as soon as it comes to line number 42, it will, from here, it will go to, this is P password. So it will go to this column and pick this value, this first value, because we gave here what we gave here. What are the properties we gave for password? We selected same line as P username, right? Isn't it? So as soon as it gets this password, as soon as it comes to this line 42, right? It will go to P password and it will see first what is the username for this iteration. The username is this one. Now it will pick the same value from this, this
Same line.
Password from the same line, correct? Right? Now let us see, let replay the script and up, let's confirm that. I'm replaying the script. And let us keep a eye on this. See here, now Web2 user file registration is completed at 12:56. Observe the time here, isn't it? So we have
Yes,
automated this user registration, right? As simple as that. Your first script is completed, guys. Okay. So we have automated this user registration, and now script is doing your job. Suppose I want to register all the remaining, how many user IDs we have more? How many more user IDs we have? 5 is also used, isn't it? So first, I'll change the first data line to 6. How many more we have? 95 user IDs, right? Now I want to register all the user IDs at once. Go to runtime settings, and by default number of iterations will be 1. There will be something called run logic. Here you see number of iterations or iterations as 1. Make it as 95, right? And replay the script. Now you can sit back and relax. Go and get a cup of coffee or tea, and you can sit back and relax. Now, like your script does all this user registration, right? So let's watch this, let's watch this script in action now. This user registration will be, the script will be doing your job now, like that user registration, right? Oh, lost with the debugger and switch to design. Hold on, there is some tool issue, guys. Okay, that's the first time that I'm seeing this issue. Let me close this once. Let me relaunch it. Okay, I think it did not create any users. It was not run. Okay, so because of some issue, let me relaunch the VueGen. All right, let me relaunch the VueGen.
So you didn't save the program, it will be there?
No, it will be automatically saved. As soon as I click on replay, it will save the script, it will compile the script, and then it will run the script.
Okay.
Okay, so it will do it automatically. Recent scripts and solution. Yeah, so if you observe here, as if I make some change here, right? For example, see, save button, save button is disabled here. Suppose if I make some change here, okay. Now you can see save button is enabled, right? So now if I click on replay, right, what happens is first it will save the script. Observe the status here. Here it is ready state, isn't it? See, observe the top bottom left. Bottom left it is showing as ready. And if I click on replay, right, first it will show that the script is saved and then compiled, and now it is running the script. Now it is working fine. Now let me go to that folder. Okay. Let me minimize this. Let me go to that web tools folder. You can see the user registrations. Your tool is running the script and doing the user registrations. Observe here. 6, 5, 6, 7 completed now. 8 is done now. 9 is done now. 10. Right? You can happily sit back and relax, and you can enjoy the show. Right? Now your script is doing the user registration for you. So no matter whether it is 100 users or 1000 users or 10,000 users, you can do with the script now, right? So what is happening here? Every time it is picking one value from the file and it is registering that username, isn't it? And let's observe the script now, how it is replaying. See, observe here, when you are replaying the script, it is showing the arrow mark, like which step it is executing, isn't it?
Yeah, the yellow highlight.
Correct. You like the tool?
Yes.
So you don't need to remember all these URL, resource, target frame, rec content type.
No, I'll explain those.
Okay,
later.
okay.
What does that mean? I just want to show you how you create a script and how to enhance the script.
Okay, got it.
Right. So we need not, did we write any single line of code till now?
No.
No, right? So we just recorded the flow in the browser, and we did some modifications as per the requirement. Every time I want to pass one username. So for that, I have kept all the usernames into a file, and I have, I referred to that file. I attached that file to the script, right? And now I am replaying the script. Now it is taking values from the usernames from the file, and it is usernames and passwords from the file, and it is registering. Here you can see 50 user registrations approximately are completed, isn't it?
Yeah, one dot, Kishore sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
in the same way, like username password is there. It's same. All users don't have same address and all those things.
Yeah, you can keep that user address also into the file, parameter file.
Address and contact is in the parameter file, like maintain
Yes.
separate Excel, make a file and
No need of separate file. You can give it into the same data file, and you
Ah.
can just separate with a comma. That's it.
yeah, okay.
I'll show you that. I'll show you that once this is completed.
So, sir, one question, like while we record the script, right? So let's say right now you have given comments, but when we give the transactions and start and end name, right? So in that case, there is something, this is recording events going on. So that is request and response. So do I need to wait for that recording event to become
Stabilize.
one stabilize, and then I give the end transaction, or I can directly give the like?
No, you have to wait till the page is loaded completely and the recording event counter stabilizes.
Okay. Okay.
So what is the meaning of that? Whatever question that was asked.
I'll explain, Pritesh. I'll explain.
Okay.
The next script I will explain.
Okay.
See, if I give too many inputs in the first script itself, like it will be confusing.
Yeah.
So I'll grad.
Right. My one more question is just to understand the broader perspective of how the tool will be used. So this is like going back to your Gmail example, the functional aspect of it, and then the performance testing aspect of it. So in what scenarios we will use this recording or the program that we just created?
Okay, good question. Yeah. So now what we will do is, for example, why are we creating the script now? So we created one script for user registration. Let me go back to the the previous one where we discussed this. Hold on. We discussed the critical business flows of any application.
Right.
So what we will do now is we will create one script for user registration. Suppose you want to test this travel application, any application. So first part is user registration, right? We need to create some user IDs. Next, we will create one more script for search availability, and one script for booking ticket, one script for hotel room booking, one script for a track bus, and we will run all the scripts together. Suppose you want to test the any application, right, with some 1,000 users.
Okay.
1,000 users, right? How is the application performance when 1,000 users are accessing the application? So what we will do is we'll create different scripts like this. We'll collect all the critical business flows, and we'll create scripts for each of these critical business flow, and we will run all the scripts together, so that we are putting some load on the server. We are simulating the real world user actions, and we are generating load on the server, and we'll capture the response times. What is the response time for home page? What is the response time for login and all?
Okay,
right?
got it.
So in that way, we will test the application with the help of these scripts, performance test scripts.
Right, got it. Thank you.
Now this completed user registration is completed till 100 users, right? Right. So fine, we created the script, and we are able to do user registration. But at the same time, we want to measure the transaction time also, right? So I'll show that in the next session. How do you put transaction times is, let me quickly show. It doesn't take much time. Suppose I want to measure what is the response time of this page, index.htm, right? So I will use I will use something called transaction point for this, right? So this request is from line number 4 to line number 12. So what you do is, before that line number 4, use control T, and it will insert this function called LR start transaction. And let me give some name to this web tools. User registration T01 for transaction 01, and index page. Okay, index page. I gave some name to the transaction. Okay, and I have to stop the transaction here. Means I started transaction here, and I have to stop the transaction here. For that, I have a shortcut called Control Shift T. Control Shift T. If you don't remember those shortcuts, you can go to design and insert in script. Next time I'll use that. Okay. Next. So I inserted a transaction for this home page. Right. Now let me copy this. What is my next transaction? Click sign up now. So before that request, right? Before the request, if you don't remember the shortcuts, you can go here and design, insert in script, start transaction. Here you see the shortcuts, Control T, Control Shift T. Or select this one, Control T, and paste the transaction name. And this is your second transaction. What is this transaction? Click sign up now. Right? I'm replacing this transaction name like this. Remove the spaces. Okay. Remove spaces. Click sign up now. That is my transaction name. Now copy this transaction name and end it here. Control Shift T, right? And again Control T, paste that transaction name. Sorry, copy this transaction name as a whole, and you have to use the same transaction name here. Again, I'm copying the same here and updating it. This is step number 3. On seeing the comments, you'll see here, right? This is the purpose of comments. Okay, I follow this approach. Some people, while recording itself, they will give the transaction names, but I prefer to follow this approach. So I'm modifying. See, what step is this? Enter profile details and click continue. So what I will give the transaction name is submit user registration details. Right? Makes sense. See, this is your application name. This is your user registration is your script name. And this is transaction number T01, T03, T for transaction. And this is your name for the step. What exactly we are doing in this transaction, right? So I have to close it here. Control Shift T. So transaction name, and then Control T. Update the name. Update the transaction name. T as T04. And what step is this? Click continue to login. Okay. Click continue to login. Don't use spaces here, because if you use spaces here, right, you know, if you suppose if you use spaces here, right, if you double click, you cannot select that with double click. But if you don't use spaces here, you can select with a double click the complete transaction name with a double click, isn't it? Right? And then Control T. This is the last step, which is logout step. So change the transaction number and transaction name. Right? And copy this transaction name and use Control Shift T and done. I kept the transaction points now. Means now I will get the response time of each transaction now. Right? Can I replay the script now? Directly, can I replay the script?
No, because the users already created.
Right, the users are already registered. So you have to change the user ID. Right? You have to provide some new user ID. Go to the parameter file and add some new user ID. Let me change this as till 100 we have used, right? We registered till 100. I'll change this as 101. First one I'll change it as 101, right? And password also I'll change it as 101. And I will run for only one iteration. Okay, run for only one iteration, means only one time. I change the number of iterations to 1 just to show you how to measure the transaction times. Okay, I'm replaying the script now. And one more thing, one more beautiful feature of Loadrunner is you have something called runtime viewer. Observe this runtime viewer window, right? You will see what is happening, when we replay the script, what is happening, you can see it in the runtime viewer. Observe here. See here, index page, and then reach. Hey, hold on. Oh, sorry, I did not change the parameter properties. Sorry for that. Go to parameters, and here we changed it previously, right? To line number 6, right? And I kept the in the first file. I changed the username in the first line. So you had to change back this first data line to 1, isn't it? Now, see, what does this runtime viewer show you? See here, click on this back button to go to, this is the first page. Now, if you click on next, right, this is user registration page. Once you click on sign up now, this is the page that you get, right?
Yes.
And now again, this is, see here, once I click on forward, it is showing here clearly your username is taken. Means because Web2's user 6 is already registered.
Already used.
Your username. So it is displaying an error message here, isn't it? Right? So runtime viewer will show you what is happening in the browser. I mean, when you are, what is the output of this each request, right? So you can see that in the runtime viewer. Now let me replay the script again. I updated the data file and I gave some new username called web2 user 101. Now you can see that in the runtime viewer. See here, right? This is done. Let me go to the runtime viewer and show you. Click on the back button till it is disabled to go to the first page, and then click forward. So this is your, see, this is your first page, index page. And if you click forward, this is your user registration page. And if you click forward, see here, now user registration is successful, isn't it?
Yeah.
And now what is the next step? You will click continue to login and you will see this welcome message, right? And what is the next step that we included in the script? Once we log in, we click logout, right? So click forward and you will see the logout. This is the logout page, right? Once we log out of the application, we get this page, isn't it? And let me check if that user is registered. You web2 user 101. Here you can see this user is registered. And we kept some transaction points, right? Let us see what is the purpose of transaction points. Observe here. See here, observe here. Web2 user registration T01 index page. It took 2 seconds to 442 milliseconds. You can see the time, unit of time here. Hours, minutes, seconds, milliseconds. So this time is 2 seconds, 442 milliseconds. Index page took that much time. Click sign up now. This is the response time of this page, 217. This is the response time of this page. Now you can see, like, you know, how much time, what is the response time of each page over here, isn't it? Understood, guys?
Yeah.
You can see the response time of each page now, right?
Yes. Yes.
So we discussed this in performance testing. Why do we do performance testing, right? Performance testing is a non-functional testing to determine an applications. Yes, can someone tell that? What is performance testing, guys?
Speed, reliability.
Okay. Non-functional testing to determine an application speed. Speed is nothing but response time. We discussed that in the next slide, right? Speed is to check if the application respond quick enough. Response time should be less, right? So speed is to measure the response time of each page, isn't it? That's what we did here, right? We got the response time of each page like this by inserting transaction points. By developing a script and using this transaction points, we can measure the response time of each page. Clear, guys? I'll stop it here, guys. It's already 1:15. I'll stop it here. So in the next session, I'll show you like how to do the same script in JMeter using JMeter tool. Tomorrow's session, I'll show that. Okay.
Couple of questions. Can we talk?
Yeah. 1 second. So just for for YouTube channel purpose, please thanks for watching and please like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So on this one here, transaction time, row number 2, where it is sign up, when you are inputting the information, the response time is less. But whenever there is, you're refreshing the page or moving from logout screen to login screen, the response time is more. So will there be any scenarios that we can reduce that response time also, or that we will discuss in the next class anyway?
Yeah, we will discuss. Like we can,
Okay.
we can tune the application to get better response time.
Better
But
response
these
time.
are not fixed values. Let me show you. Let me replay one more time and show you. Those response time values change from time to time. Okay.
Okay.
So let me run the script with one more user ID. Okay. You may see a different response time. Here it is 2 minutes, 2 seconds, right? 2.5 seconds approximately, isn't it? So
Yeah.
let me replay and let's see the next time how the response times are going to be. See now, it went up to 6 seconds, right?
Right.
It's changing. Okay.
Yeah.
Depends on your application. Okay, how fast the application is and all. Actually, there is some, I have to restart my machine. Like seems like something is, so it actually, like you'll see less than a second. Response times will be less than a second.
Okay.
There is, I restarted long back, so maybe that is the reason something is clogging actually.
Okay. One more
And-
question, that values that you inputted, we can only use Notepad as a default application, or can we also use data from Excel and
We
things
can
like
use
that?
from Excel also. Yes.
Excel
Good
also,
question.
okay.
Good question. So you can use Notepad or Notepad plus plus, or you can click on this, import values, and you can import an Excel sheet or something. Right?
Okay, okay.
Let me show you that. Okay, I'll save this script with some other name so that I will have this script as a backup. Okay. Okay, now the script is saved with some other name. Now, like you can import values, right? What does it say? This operation will override the file. Means this file. It is talking about this username.data. So click OK, and you can use an Excel file. You can browse for a file, and you can import the file also.
Okay, okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, you can browse or one second. Import file delimiter. You can change the delimiter and use first name. So you can import a file directly also from here instead of opening that.
Right, okay.
I believe there is an option to use an Excel also. Let me check it here. Notepad, it doesn't have a. Can I give an Excel? Let me check that. So let me create one Excel file. Let me save this file. I mostly use that edit with Notepad option only, but let me check like that option as well.
Okay. Thank you.
User registration test data. Yeah. This was saved in OneDrive personal documents by default. Now what I will do is, let me try to access that OneDrive. So now I select that, use a file path here to open that folder, and then data. No, sorry. Select all files so that you will get the file, data file. Click open, and it is a comma separated file only. Use first row as column names. We did not keep any column names in the file, isn't it? Did we keep any column names? No.
Yeah, I guess we did.
Oh, yes, we have. By default, you will get that. Yeah. Okay. Now, so that's why I checked this use first row as column names.
Yeah.
Column. What is this? File format. I'll look into it later. Okay. So
Okay, okay, no problem. But we have a option to use it.
we have an option. Yes. we
Okay,
have an
cool.
option. Yeah, I'll close it here for today. So we'll continue tomorrow. So we are done with our first script successfully, and we are able to get the transaction response times and all. Right? There are, of course, few more enhancements in the script, which are minor enhancements but important. I can't say as minor; those are significant enhancement. Okay, so I'll explain that tomorrow. There are few more enhancements that should be done in the script. Let me just show you. Let me give a quick overview of that. Right. So what are the steps in the script enhancement? I shared it in load runner PPT. I have a separate PPT for load runner VueGen. Right. So these are the steps in the script enhancement. Guys, before we close the session, let me show you steps in script enhancement. Okay. Yeah. So these are the steps in the script enhancement. So I'll explain this, in detail later on. So whatever required for this first script, right? So I have shown you, we have done parameterization here. Apart from that, there will be something called correlation and page validation and think times, transaction points. We covered these transaction points also today. Correlation and transaction points. I'll explain the remaining, steps in the script enhancement in the coming up sessions. All right.
Okay. Will you share the load runner OneDrive
Sure,
thing?
yes, we'll share it.
Yeah. So we can.
Okay, then I'm stopping the session list for today.
Okay.
Is it interesting? Is scripting interesting?
As a magic show happened, it was interesting.
Yeah, for me, it's I think it's a fast. but it little bit take time to me understand.
Okay, okay. Am I going too fast?
Mm.
Maybe yes, maybe no, because
Today's section is
You felt like it's faster.
Yeah,
yes,
it's my opinion because I'm non-technical. It's my opinion. Maybe technical and
Okay, okay.
experienced
Yeah,
people
yeah.
are there. Maybe
Uh, That's fine. I just want to show you, like, there is no, there will not be much coding part, right? So only we need to know we need to have basic programming skills like if loop, for loop, and max to max, we'll write some 4 to 5 lines of code. That's it. That too, not in all the scripts. Only 10% of the scripts require some coding. We need to write some code in only 10% of the scripts, right? I just wanted to show you, like, how easy it is to with a record and playback tool like LoadRunner, right? And also LoadRunner, UI is very user friendly, as you have seen just now. We have a lot of options over there, right? So you can see, like, I have shown you options like how to open this parameter file, and how to give, like, how can we switch to the line that we want in the file, right? So you have all the options over here in front of you, isn't it?
yeah.
This
It's
was a
fast,
simple.
but very interesting to listen. But we need to recollect all how you have done. I need to practice thoroughly.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Kishore, one question, Kishore. Like, once we give the command to run the scripts, like a number of users, do we get any pop-up like that script was completed? Like anything pop-up we get from the application? Don't know. Or we
No,
have
no,
to
we
put manually.
get anything from the application. So here itself, you'll get something called runtime waiver. So
Mhm.
you have to enable this. By default, this runtime waiver will be disabled. So you have to go to tools, options, and go to scripting and replay. Go to replay tab, and you have to select this one, show runtime waiver during replay. This will be unchecked by default. Please remember that. By default, this runtime waiver will be disabled. So you have to check this to get the runtime waiver. Okay. So I'll show that once we start scripting, I'll show all those options. So whatever required for, recording, right? There are some options to select before recording the script. I'll explain those, right? See, we use settings before recording the script. Here I explain what are the options we need to select. If you want to see the replay, the runtime waiver, how to enable that runtime waiver and all, I'll explain you that. Okay.
Okay.
What is correlation? What is parameterization? Today we have done parameterization. So parameterization, nothing but running a script automatically multiple times with different input values. That's what we did, right? We ran this user registration script for 95 times with different input values, means with different usernames and passwords, isn't it?
Yes.
So this is called as parameterization. And tomorrow I'll explain, in the coming up sessions, not tomorrow, I'll explain what is correlation. So we'll discuss all this in detail.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and also there is one more wonderful feature in LoadRunner, that is automatic correlation. Okay. First, I'll show you how to do correlation automatically. Tool will do the correlation for you, right? So that will reduce a lot of manual effort, right? So, then you really love the tool. If you see that automatic correlation concept in LoadRunner, right? So, you'll really love the tool. So this is a licensed tool. This is almost like 22 years old tool. LoadRunner was developed first developed in 1999 or so. Let me check that. Yeah, it was first developed in 1999. It's almost like 22 years old too. All right. So mature tool, much evolved tool. It supports almost every technology. Any application you can do performance testing for most of the applications like SAP application or CRM applications, web applications, and desktop applications also. You can do performance testing for even legacy applications like mainframes and all, right? So most powerful tool in the market. So, and it still has, even though, see, let me show you what are the other tools in the market. There are around like 20 to 30 tools, but still LoadRunner has 50% of the market share. Still it has 50% of the market share. These are the different tools, performance testing tools in the market. Load Runner and Apache JMeter and NeoLoad, WebLoad, Sil Performer, IBM RPT. No need to learn all these tools. Okay. Gatling, Locust, Grinder, and Load Ninja, Load View. These are all different performance testing tools in the market. This is a license tool. This tool is license cost is bit high because it has a lot of features and most powerful and evolved tool, right? So, and it also has 50% of the market share. Means 50% of the projects still are using Load Runner, even though there are some open source tools like JMeter. JMeter is gaining market share in the very fast in the past. From the last 4 to 5 years, JMeter is gaining market share, right? But still, Load Runner has 50% of the market share. All right. So one tool has, like 50% market share. The other 50% market share is taken by this all the other 10 or 15 tools that you have. Here, guys. Yes, I'll start.